Welcome to another episode of the Salty Golfer Show. I'm Wes with the Salty Golfer, and I have a really, really dear friend in the house tonight, Ryan Hart with GTS. Been friends for a while now. We're going to talk about what GTS does. We're going to the World Am just wrapped up. We're going to get into that, but first, thanks for coming on, bro.
Appreciate it. Absolutely, man. Glad to be here.
Glad you're here. Why don't you just give the folks the 30-second elevator pitch of what you do at GTS and introduce yourself, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, my name's Ryan Hart. I've been with GTS Golf Tourism Solutions for 11 or 12 years now. I've always been in the events division. GTS does a lot of different things as far as marketing the area, destination marketing. We have a whole department for that. But for me, I get to live in the fun side of just running events and making people happy while they're here, right?
Yeah,
you would think, for the most part.
Sure,
most of the people like me. So, so I just took over as the tournament director.
Congrats, by the way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's it was a lot for World Am. I'm used to going through the motions with it. I've done it 10 or 11 times.
Sure.
To kind of dig into every single detail from signage to liquor licenses to all the stuff you don't think about.
Right.
It was definitely a tall task. I kind of lived at the office for about a month.
Yeah, for sure. Remember, you were hard to get a hold of there for a little bit.
Yeah, dude. I was there.
You were in the suit.
I was there from freaking 8 till 9 o'clock at night, almost every night. I was working some weekends. But, I was kind of, to be honest, I was a little worried about, what kind of mistake am I going to make? So, I've been doing it for a long time. When I started in 2013, GTS had our veterans event that we do in May. We do a high school event for kids called Palmetto around Easter, and
that tournament's got pretty big.
It's a neat story. Palmetto's a pretty neat story because what happened was we got to where it was 2 golf courses with roughly 32 teams. Yeah. And then COVID comes, right? And high school's closed down. You can't do anything. Right. You can't go anywhere. So we had a year where we only had one course with 13 teams. And then when we came out of it, I don't even have an answer for it. We didn't even it wasn't us. Right. I take zero credit, but high school started showing up from all over the place. Yeah. And this past year we had to bring in a third course, and we had 38 teams.
So that tournament's not just for the Carolinas. Anyone can enter in that tournament?
Yeah.
For the most part?
For the most part. So one of the big kind of red tape lines behind it is that people don't know. If you play golf in the spring, can't play high school golf against teams that play in the fall. So we can't bring.
So what is South Carolina?
Spring, North Carolina spring, but Florida's fall.
Right.
Florida should be a huge draw for us. We should be able to bring in 12 to 15 teams.
Yeah.
And they're unable to participate. But we still get a ton of teams. We get some from Texas, California. Yeah. I mean, people are traveling.
I came out there this year and walked around a little bit. Those kids are amazing. The way they can hit the ball.
Yeah.
The other tournament that you guys do that I absolutely enjoy coming out to is the DJ thing.
I mean, that is.
Is that what's one of your favorite? Is that one of your favorites or do you have a favorite? You look forward to one event every year.
DJ's up there.
Yeah.
And the reason that I say it is I was a big junior golfer. You know, I didn't travel around and play in a ton of junior golf stuff. I did the just everyday travel around a little bit of stuff. I went a big AGA guy and stuff like that. And it's just hard to get your ranking points and stuff from that. So when we first started doing DJ, great, we're going to partner with DJ, number one player in the world at the time. We're going to pump up a junior thing, and we're going to get a lot of locals. We're going to open it up. So it started there, and then the second year is how can we grab the greatness around the country and make this thing awesome? So we went to the Junior Golf Scoreboard Golf Week rankings and pulled the top 500 kids in the country. Yeah. Right. Well, how are you going to get a 16-year-old's email? Believe me, it's impossible.
Sure.
So, and it should be.
Yeah.
But what we were able to do because of how good they are, you just go Google their name and up come their high school results, right? So you could get at least high school coaches. If you could figure out the high school in the state, go to the high school site, spend about 15 minutes a kid, and find either the athletic director or the high school coach and reach out to them and say, hey, we'd like, on behalf of Dustin Johnson, we've heard about so-and-so, we'd like to invite them, and send out 1,500 emails to high school coaches and athletic directors. And some, of course, just throw them in the trash. But, over time...
But you got kids... What is amazing to me is, I don't remember the number, but it was over 30 D1 commits this year.
Yeah, this year. We're 9 years.
upper echelon players. Like,
Yeah,
it's not just like Joe Schmo from
no, you
down-
can't get in.
Right,
anymore.
exactly.
Like back then, it was like, okay, the top 5 kids around here, we got to get them in.
Sure.
Now it's like they can't get it.
Right.
So over time, once we got a bunch of really good players that way, and I mean, we put on an awesome show at TPC. It is A+. The staff from Founders there that come in and help and make that thing awesome.
I've been lucky enough to play either right before or right after.
Yeah.
And the course is just
so
cool.
One of the biggest things of the year, we like to go out. They leave the pins after Sunday, and we normally get to, we get to play on Monday.
Right.
And it's the toughest thing in the world. They set that thing up. It's ridiculous. It's hard for me to break 80 where normally I can break 80 all the time. So
for sure.
But yeah, it just grew and grew and grew. So definitely that's one of my favorite ones. But I mean, if I'm gonna say what my favorite one, I mean it's World Am.
Yeah.
And I grew up here. Like people don't know. Like I'm from here. I'm a local here.
Right.
I take pride in being part of the community and stuff like that. And when I was a kid growing up, I used to look at World Am and I used to think to myself like, "Boy, I don't want to play in that."
Yeah.
It's just a big old net challenge where everybody, whoever has the most out of whack index, so.
For sure.
And it used to be a big, like when the Sun News used to be the paper here, and you got the sports section, man, World Am would come out and every single flight was in there.
Yeah.
And you can remember it was like 4 pages.
So how old is the World Am now?
This was the 41st year.
That's right, 41st year.
41
it used to be called like the DuPont or something like that, right?
Man,
back in the day,
every single old guy that plays in the event and locals around town, they still call it the DuPont, man. Yeah. Hey, I call and I want to get signed up for the DuPont. I've been the DuPont for like 13 years. But
I just seen some of those old vintage hats around
it's awesome.
Around the Coliseum there.
That it was a big part of what helped the event grow, was bringing a sponsor like that, a corporate sponsor that were big to support it, and they would bring a lot of their employees and make it an employee benefit thing, and that's it was a big deal. I wasn't involved as much then, but I've heard all the stories about it, and it would be nice to have something like that now.
So doubling back to the to DJ's tournament real quick.
Yeah.
Some of the names that have played in that thing that are now literally some of the top.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Name drop some people.
Akshay,
yeah.
But I can't even pronounce it. I never had to announce him, man.
Everyone knows who he is, though.
Yeah, but like Nick Dunlap, he wins. If you look at the winners from that golf tournament and take away maybe like the first or second year, man, they're all superstars.
A lot of them are still involved.
And there's people that played, like even the girl on the girls' side, that like Alexa Pano. I mean, if you pay any attention to girls golf, she's showing up everywhere all the time now. And all of those girls, like, you don't even have to look at winners. We had one girl from West Columbia, Jensen Castle, probably by far one of my favorites that ever played. She was just a character, so much fun to be around. Bubbly personality. She ends up winning the U.S. Amateur 2 years afterwards.
It says a lot about the tournament.
It's unbelievable what it's turned into. I think this past year, if you weren't a top 90 boy in the country or a top like 75 girl, like you can't get in.
So are people now reaching out to you like, hey, I want to get in this tournament? Now there's a wait list. Oh. Is there any kind of qualifier to get in?
So we did a qualifier for a while, a couple of years, and the qualifier would sell out in like 20 minutes.
Sure.
To where we could get 80 people, maybe like 2 weeks ahead of time.
And how many were you taking?
One.
80 kids were showing up for one spot.
Yeah, one girl, one boy. We might have taken 2 boys at one point, actually. It might have been 1 and 2.
Okay.
But like, I liked the qualifier because it allowed some nobody who's not in the rankings to show up and say, hey, man, I belong.
Right. Catch fire in a bottle and get rolling.
So we don't do it as much anymore. But to your point on a wait list, there's a wait list. So
for kids showing up in case somebody doesn't, not so much that.
They're waiting by the phones because we do get a lot of these top-notch kids that, they register, they know they're going to get in, they check it on their calendar, and then for some reason they'll pull out kind of at the last minute. And normally when you call the next person up, man, they're like, oh, yeah, I'll be there, man. I'm on the way right now. So
I was out there last year. This might have been 2 years ago, but number 2, the par 5.
Yeah.
I watched a kid. I wish I could remember his name, but you play the tees pretty much all the way back in that tournament.
100%.
Yeah, and that hole you've got water left twice. on that hole, and this kid striped it. I don't even think he hit driver. I think he hit 3-wood.
It's crazy.
Like 285.
Yeah.
And then he hit 4-iron and holed out for an albatross.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he hit the softest, highest 4-iron I've ever seen in my life. One bounce and in the hole.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
I mean, I've done every single year, like a big thing for me is like, I won't do it this year as the director,
sure.
which I'll miss doing because I love doing it. But like, I announce the kids off of 10
yeah,
T-Bucks.
I see that on Instagram.
Yeah. So I get into it and make it real loud,
sure.
and everybody's turning around. And like,
have you given that job to someone else yet?
No, they don't know yet. We're announcing it on the podcast
right
sweet. Now. We're not going to say who it's going to be, but it's going to be one of the events guys.
Sweet. Good.
Yeah, I won't be able to do it. But in doing that, I don't really get to go out and see as much. But I do get to hang around 18 afterwards when we're doing stuff and around the scoring area and see some stuff. And
you know where I like to hang out? I like to hang out on 9 and see the kids that go long and see if they can get up and down from behind that hole.
It's crazy. This is what I like about 18 at TPC. So we know it's a par 5. For me, I can't get there, man. I don't know about you.
Depends on the tee box.
Yeah. But like from where they're playing, there's no chance on earth.
Not for me. Yeah.
I'm laying up and might be hitting 9-iron or something.
If I've got 120 or less from the back box on my third shot, I'm pleasantly.
Yeah. Just put me in the middle fairway.
Yeah.
So one thing that people do on that pole when they're going for it, and too, some of these kids do, like there's water short, there's water left, like.
Kind of a peninsula green.
We're just going to bail out a little right.
Yeah.
You know, and we're all world. We're going to get up and down. Well, with the way they got the rough, that shot coming over that bunker, man, it's hard to just keep that chip shot on the green for keep getting up and down.
Sometimes it's just hard to find the ball.
I remember we were talking about Akshay, one of the best shots I can remember. It's not some long shot or anything. He hit it over there. And it was the year he won to win, and he hit a shot from over there, man. And when it hit right, like 2 inches on the green, if you could have put a quarter where you wanted it to land, you put it right there, and somehow it just kind of trickled down in there. It was awesome up and down.
Did he win pretty significantly, or was it close? Do you remember?
I can't remember.
But he didn't have to par that.
He shot 10. I know that he shot 10 under. Which I want to say might be the lower.
And it's a 2-dayer, right?
3. It's 3.
That's right, 3.
But like, man, you go and you look at all these other junior events around the country, and you see these 18s. It is not TPC at Myrtle Beach on tough day. Like that course is set up. DJ's got Alan Terrell. Like he is all about. I want this event to be like a PGA Tour experience. So when these kids check in, man, they get a locker in the locker room. No one can go in there but them. Yeah. They got to get a locker attendant to unlock it and relock it for them. I mean, the experience from when they get there from beginning to end is upper echelon. And the second part of that is, are we going to play it down? Like, don't ask that on the tee, man. If we're not underwater completely. Yes, we're playing the ball down. It's going to be really hard. And you're here because you're the best of the best and everyone wants to see it. And that's how it's going to be. So
10 under, bro. That's pretty stout.
It's stout.
For 3 days. That's crazy.
It's playing awesome. So
all right, so let's go back to the World Am.
Yeah.
I've played in it now for 3 years. I love it. I look forward to that week.
Best finish was this year.
Okay. 19th.
Okay.
In my division, which is Division 2, the 4-0 to 4-9 or whatever that is.
You're in Flight 2? Yeah.
Flight 2, yeah.
Which, just to make you feel better, man, that's the first flight besides the gross.
That's correct.
You're in the low handicap flight.
That's correct. I had one bad day, and that kind of like took me out of.
Looked like Willbrook, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was Willbrook.
I just looked at your stats before I came, brother.
It was. I'd never played that one all the way back before, and it was almost all the way back on every hole.
Yeah.
And some of those shoots that you've got to hit the ball through on the tee box is absolutely nuts. Someone must be dying across the street.
I hear it.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's Myrtle Beach, man. Right by the ocean. But Willbrook was probably my toughest test. I thought my toughest test was going to be Glendornock.
That's a tough golf course.
And I shot a 78 out there.
Well, you're a player. You
I
just
don't know
weren't ready.
That. But I tell you what, my whole thing going into the World Am was, if I can get to the 150 marker with a 4-iron, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not hitting driver unless I absolutely have to.
I've gotten to where I kind of play golf that way myself now. I think that's kind of a wuss way to play.
Yeah.
That we're getting older,
Yeah.
but like, it used to be grab a driver and let's bust it down there to 73 yards.
Right.
And we're not going to miss greens with wedges. Well, now you don't play enough, and that's become a hard shot instead of the red zone.
Right.
So, like, you might duff a wedge or you might thin it and you make a double.
Right.
I mean, if you're at the 150, you're still swinging and it's a 9-iron or
I'm
something
in play.
like that. Yeah, 100%.
In play in a tournament, so I'm fine. Yeah, I got mad at myself the other day. I shot a 78, and Ryan, I might have hit 3 or 4 fairways. And I'm sitting there driving home, I'm like, bro, why are you pissed? Like, you don't practice. And you're mad because you still broke 80 and you had nothing.
Listen,
Like,
I don't care. I'm still mad when I'm leaving. There was a time where I used to strap my clubs on the back of the golf cart, and it was going to be 71 to 77, no matter what. I never went low, but I never went high.
Consistent.
And now I'm just a laughing stock, man. My hands jiggle now when I'm trying to putt. I got,
I play with you.
Yeah.
I see flashes still, though, bro.
Oh, the flashes are there. The bad shots. See, people lose track of this. Golf is a game of misses. It's not greatness.
Right.
It's all about your misses.
We all had a pretty good day when we were playing up there in the mountains together, though. That was
awesome.
We still got beat. I told you we would.
Dude, I can't remember.
We got beat by a pencil.
Yeah, I can't remember what we did up there.
It was fun, though.
It was less than 18. We eagled everything. It was. You remember? We just circle it.
Yeah.
Every hole.
Circle it. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. But the World Am, you've been there 10, 11 years now. You did that. So now you're the director. But what I kind of want to talk about, which is very important to a tournament of this size, is handicapping.
Yeah.
And how the handicap system works. The handicap system is basically based on potential, right? Like you're not going to always. I saw some stupid stat like you'll shoot your handicap like every 12th or 13th time.
It's more like it's about 5 or 6.
Is it 5 or 6?
But it goes to your current. Keep in mind it's your current index. So, funny about the handicap. Like my first year there, man, I was collegiate golfer, played awesome, thought I knew what the handicap system was all about. I get in there, I start learning about it. I'm like, well, I can do that.
Yeah.
Of course I can do this.
Sure.
Of course I can do that.
Yeah.
And that's the attitude you get from a lot of the players. Well, that's not impossible. Yes, it's hard.
Yeah.
So I lost a lot of bets to Jeff Monday, who was the director at the time. Like, well, I can get my handicap to this, or I can do this many times. And so I took a lot of interest in the handicap system, more because, like, we use it to compete, right? But like, it's the coolest tool in the world to like play yourself.
Yeah.
Like every time I'm done with a round of golf, man, I might not get to the clubhouse.
Right.
I don't need the gym app. I know the formula.
Right.
I'm doing it in my little calculator to see exactly what my differential was. Did I beat my handicap? How many shots did I beat it by? Was it 0.8? Because if you even touch your index, man, it's because you caught fire. It's because the stars align for you, and people lose sight of that. They think, well, I go out and I average like 90, so I'm an 18. Well, no, not at all. If you average 90, you're less than that. And 2, the tee boxes all make a difference, obviously, right?
Absolutely.
A guy who shoots 83 every time from the red tees and a guy who shoots 83 every time from the tips, they're not 11s.
Yeah.
One's nowhere near an 11, and the other guy's way better.
Right.
So learning it was awesome. So once I got 2 or 3 years into it, I got really into it.
Yeah.
Like, I consider myself now to know more about the handicap system than probably almost anybody that you're going to talk to.
Really?
Right? And it's not just because I took the time to learn it or looked into it. I get to review 12,000, forget all our other events, 12,000 something rounds a year stacked together.
Yeah.
And I get to view the best of them every time. We don't check the guy in 29th place,
Sure.
but we check the top couple players every single flight, every single day, and you kind of learn from it. So
that's why I got in a conversation with somebody the other day about the handicap systems. Like, you're really only doing yourself a justice if you are literally logging every time you play.
You have to. And you have to do it the day you play.
Right.
Because if you miss the day you play, you miss the new calculation that's called playing course conditions, which they don't make your stuff go up, but it can make it go down based on the course being really right.
And I learned that lesson in this year's World Am.
Yeah. Really?
Well, yeah, because my year long is a 4. but I'm trending at like a 7 something right now.
Right. So your current index for World Am was 6.7.
Yeah.
When you signed up.
Right.
Your low is at 4. So
Correct.
what people don't realize, and one thing we do at World Am is like we don't use the current because. And it's not, well, a lot of people say, well, you're just using the low 12.
Right.
I'm getting screwed because you're trying to catch cheaters. No, we're not trying to catch cheaters by doing it. We're trying to find out who Salty is when he plays his absolute best golf, because that's what that number's supposed to represent.
Sure.
That's what it is.
Right. And, I do have a habit of not always, and I think it bit me a little bit this year because, when you do play really well, I want to log that, man. I want everyone to see that.
Yeah, there's the vanity, whose guy gets too low, and then there's the other guy who boosts, or there's the honest dude who doesn't understand the rules of posting the same day, or he made a 9 and he's supposed to take a 7, and it can make your index lower, so your handicap can get higher on accident. Not everybody who gets in trouble handicap-wise at the golf tournament, I don't like to ever call somebody a cheater. I will not.
Some of it is just they don't understand.
That a lot of honest people get mixed up in it. There is a lot of manipulative things that happen, but the statement from World Am is if you come and you play and we find out that your index is inaccurate and it doesn't measure you at your best while everybody else's does, and we flighted you that way, I don't care why it's wrong.
Right.
I don't care if it's honest. I don't care if you did it on purpose.
Right.
It's wrong, and we don't feel comfortable giving out.
It's not fair to everyone
prize. To everybody who did it right.
Correct.
And there's a lot of golf tournaments across the country that are like, well, I'm not going to touch him. He does win every time, but if I kick him out of the golf tournament, never come back. Well, if you don't take any action, you might have 5, 6, 7 people that won't come back that are honest because they don't think they have a chance.
Correct.
And that's the coolest part about the handicap system.
Yeah.
The USGA has put together, is it perfect? No.
Right.
But it is the best way to be able to play equally with anybody who picks up.
Well, this is another point I want to make. We host a lot of people throughout the year, and some of them are 25 handicaps, but having a handicap makes it fun for the 2 or 3 handicap to play with the 25 handicap, and you can still compete.
I mean, it's all over the place like that, man. I think I'm a 2.9 now. My low's 2.5. I said I was kind of consistent. I don't even know how it's that low. I've been playing garbage for 3 years, it feels like. Yeah. But as good as I am, Patrick O'Brien, who works with us, he's like a plus
he's a baller.
4 or something, right? So if I go play with Patrick, I can't beat him. Yeah. I'm excellent, but I can't beat him.
Right.
So he's got to give me 6 or 7 shots.
Yeah.
When we play, just to make it equal. Right. That sounds crazy for a 2 handicap to get that many shots. Right? And then, we got an intern who started with us. He's a 14, and he needs, he's going to get 20 something. But it allows us all to go out on the golf course and have a little fun, everybody's competitive, man. The competitive juices.
Well, it's like us. This is the last thing we can do and be competitive at, right? I played basketball at a really high level. I have no desire to ever do that again. in my 40s, it's the last thing that we can do and be like, I just took $5 from you, bro. Yeah, and it feels good. And that's what I love about golf is it's the one sport I think you can do till you die and still be competitive at, if you want to. So,
it is.
Let's get in. So, for a decade, you controlled that room.
Yeah. Close to a decade. Yeah.
The handicap room.
Yeah.
Can you tell us some stories?
Absolutely, dude. Okay. So we got all kinds of stories that have taken place in there. I'll give you my favorite.
You had Sports Illustrated shadowed you for a story in their magazine.
Yeah, it was awesome, which is awesome because we get back in there and we get saying some stuff and it's man, this guy writes a real article. I don't need some article where he's trying to knock us or make us look bad because he did an awesome article. John Schwarb hit a home run with that article. It's a really cool article if you've never read it. All you got to do is Google around. I'm sure you can find it fast. But most of the stories are manipulative type things, right? I don't have any that just barely get by. But in that room, it can vary from year to year. Where I think this year we disqualified 14 players.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is there a certain amount? Is there?
It's not like we're looking for an amount. Right. If it's wrong, it's wrong, man. Right. Yeah. And over the years, don't get me wrong, we tweak what we think is right and wrong. Sure. But it's fractional. and we stayed pretty close.
So are you, is it I know you were over it, but you calling people in individually, and there's like 2 of you guys or 3 of you guys, or how's it work?
Here's what happens. So we print out a piece of paper on a desk. I got to do the boring side of it this year. There's a piece of paper. There's 63 numbers on it because we got 63 flights, right?
Sure.
So as soon as a flight comes in, on the computer screen, it'll say like entered by the golf course. They have to press enter once they're done with all the scores.
Right.
Not half. You can't see how many are done. It just says done.
Yeah.
You go in, you look, you pull up, and you can see like what's called variance and how much you're beating certain things by,
Sure.
and you can see the placement. And
Yeah.
so you'll call out every single player in our tournament has like a number attached to him, almost like a social security number.
Right.
So I'll call it out. I'm like, Dylan, 45623, Carson 61273, and everybody gets it on the screen and they look at it and they're like, okay. And on day one, you can't get in trouble on day one.
Right.
It's something crazy. It's
Sure.
like you need to be gone
Right.
if we call you on day one. But over time, we're just looking at
You're
all.
12 and shoot a 68 or something like that.
Well, if like anybody can catch fire for a day.
Sure.
When you stack things on top of each other, multiple days of smoking your indexes, I just don't have any time to talk.
Because really, how many people, amateur golfers, are playing in 4-day events? Possibly 5.
Oh yeah, and the courses are easier here than they are at home. Yeah, dude, you're in a huge golf competition where you're putting everything out.
It's different, man.
Oh well, it was lift, lean, in place. Yeah, but your index is designed for when you are on fire. So who cares if you get to move it around? Like it doesn't make it better than when you're on fire.
Sure.
So anyway, we'll call them out, but there's no set number. Like this year was 14. I think one of the lowest years we ever had, we only did like 9,
Nice.
and we've had years where we've done like 34.
Wow.
And so what happens is once we determine that somebody's index isn't accurate, somebody's gonna call.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for years I've been the first person to make the call. Like
Sure.
when I get the call, I'm like, hey man, great round today. I give them this little speech, and I'm like, unfortunately, you're going to be ineligible for prizes. And it's like, and don't talk again.
Right.
Like at that point, let them talk about it. We'll explain it. Some of these conversations take 30 minutes. Some of them take 6 minutes.
Do some of them get like slamming the table?
Oh, dude, are you? So I think it was 2 years ago. Chad Sullivan, who doesn't work with us anymore, but he worked with us for a while. Great employee. And there was a year where we were sitting in the back of the handicap room, and some guy came in, and man, he got adjusted. We also have a program that, like, if you go a certain amount below your index,
You get bumped up.
we like change the amount of shots, and we go back and change your previous scores to reflect that.
Gotcha.
Right, and like sometimes we don't even know it's done. It's like a 3-page math problem that we put together that does it for us. So this guy comes in, he's talking about it, and Chad's like, oh, well, you got adjusted. He starts explaining it to me. He had a handful of change, and he spiked those things off the table, man. Change going everywhere, and it's like, we got to have a police officer in the room at all times. I think you get more crazy, like jump across the table things happen if we didn't have a police officer in the room. The fact there's a police officer with a gun completely calms everything down. But like I've had some stuff like over time where like you can tell when you're talking to somebody if they're about to go nuts.
Right.
You've seen the crazy eyes. We all have, right? And like there was one year this guy it was Chad's first year actually, and I can't remember his name, but he was sitting there and I was talking to him about his adjustment. He was asking for somebody higher than me. And I was like, listen, man, I'm the handicap chairman, tournament director. He's kind of out. He's busy directing the tournament. Like that you get to talk. There's no. And he was like, no. And I was like, listen, man, I think you're just taking this the wrong way. Man. You should be excited. You've just played the best golf you can. Unfortunately, your index is just, we got you in a tournament against people that are supposed to be equal to you, and you're just way better than them.
Sure.
It's kind of like a compliment, and then you could just see in his eyes, man.
He wasn't feeling the compliment.
Don't you say that to me, man. Don't you belittle me. But back to my favorite one of all times. I'm gonna use 2 fake names. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm just gonna call them Fake Golfer 1.
All right. Let me ask you this real quick before you get into those. Do you have guys that come in and then you sit them down and they're already grinning because they know like they shouldn't be in that flight? And
no.
You don't have any of that?
Everybody has a story why we're wrong.
Oh, really?
There is no one that comes.
So no one's ever been like, all right, you caught me. Like,
no.
Okay.
Heck no.
I thought
man.
there might be.
No, we're evil.
Right.
Believe me, we're evil
How
in that
dare
ring.
you, Ryan.
And let me tell you something, because you've been there.
Yeah.
3 years, you walk around the 19th hole, you see 30,000 of the happiest people you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah.
Well, my staff, we sit in a back room. This was the first year I got to personally see it as the director walking around. We sit in the back room and we talk to the 30 or 40 that think we're the devil.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're angry, right? And it, unfortunately, it takes away from what our staff does all year to get to the point,
right.
you know, the reward of how great it is.
Sure.
And, you know, our other staff members and our production team and stuff are like, you know, it's awesome. And I try to tell my guys, like, don't get down just because you're getting smoked for 3 hours.
It's tough too, man. Like, you're getting, like you said, and this year I think it was Dylan, right? He took over, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, we got to have 3 people in there so that you can.
But he's the one breaking the news now, right?
Yes,
For the most part.
And Ben Dunn, who's been with us about a year and a half, is coming along and he's getting the hang of it. Like, it takes some time to like handle that conversation. That's way more difficult than being behind the counter at a course and somebody comes in complaining because the greens were airified 2 weeks ago and they're mad, right? Yeah. This is different. Like, when you tell somebody this, whether they know they're wrong or they think they're right or whatever it is, man, you're kind of like taken away from what they've been dreaming about for a year to get there.
Right.
So it's a difficult conversation.
Yeah.
It's not like you take pride in it, but you can take pride in the fact that you're protecting the integrity they've been.
Right. Well, and I do like how you spin it. Like, bro, like, great playing. But
it is.
I can't allow this for this division.
If you're telling me that you post your scores every day, the day you play them, you take Equitable's Pro Control, you do everything right, you do everything, and you've shot these scores that just happened, maybe this will never happen to you again in the history of the world.
Yeah.
That's why you're not in it anymore, because like, it can't happen. We don't just throw people out because it's close.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it takes a lot to make it to that spot. There's 3,000 people, and we're kicking out 14, and everybody at their member guest is pointing at the top 3 names at the leaderboard with only 100, and they know it's the same people. They do it all the time. So to get into the system, it takes a lot. Dylan has taken over.
I'll let you get back to that story. But the first year I played in the World Am, it was day 2, and the guy, I don't remember the guy's name, but he did catch fire in a ball. Like, he was playing his butt off. Like, birdie, par. Like, he got like the whole 16, and he was like severely worried. He's like, I think I better bogey these last 2 holes.
That's like hearing that. Just like, listen, we're gonna.
It's a true story, though.
I know, because I've heard it all the time. They're like, well, hey, what do you want me to do? You want me to bogey the last 3 holes? Listen, we've been talking about your index being inaccurate. Yeah. But if you're gonna bogey the last 3 holes on purpose, let's just go on paper right now. Right. I don't ever say it, like I said earlier, but that is cheating. Yeah, for sure. That is flat out cheating.
For sure.
So don't ever do that. Always try your best. It doesn't matter. You're playing for a prize and a card, and it's neat and stuff, but like, you should always try your best on the golf course, or like, that'd be like going out and point shaving.
I would never have to worry about that.
Yeah. Like, you feel that you played awesome at Glendora, right?
Yeah.
Like, you did. You played really well.
Yeah.
You shot 1 shot above your index.
Correct.
The people we're talking to have beat their index by 6 shots and 2 shots on 2 other days. Like, it's like, come on, man. Like, you can't do that.
Right.
Imagine playing 8 shots better than you did at Glendornick, and then playing 4 shots better than you did at Glendornick on 2 other days at your ability. Yeah. That's not, you can do that. So, so this is my favorite one. Fake golfer number 1 shows up at the golf tournament in 2012. It was the year before I was there. He won his flight, played on Friday. He came back.
Did he win on Friday or just play?
No, just played. He came back in 2014.
Okay.
He blew his index out of the water.
Okay.
And
do you remember what it was?
No, but I'm going to give you some cool stats about it. Like, in that first year, he kind of flatlined his index, like played kind of right to it every single day, or fractionally under, not a full shot, but decimal points, right? That's possible.
Sure.
Like, that's playing really, really, really well, but it's possible, so we're not.
Yeah.
Well, then this next year, he was like -3, -2, flatline, -4. And it's like, dude, okay, no, that you can't beat your
Right. So
your best by that much.
explain what that means to the people that might not know what you say by like -2, -3.
So when you play golf, most people look and say, like we were saying, if you shoot 76, well, that I played to a 4. No, you need to take the course rating and the slope, and there's a basic mathematical formula. You can look it up, man. It's like second grade math.
Right.
And it spits out what's called a differential. When you look at your handicap, don't look at the scores. Everybody says, I want to break par, right? Well, 71 might not be as good as 74 from golf course to golf course.
Sure.
You've got to look at the differential. So when you look at the differential that spits out, it comes out as a number. Like if you're a 4, your differentials this year were like, your best one at Glen Dorman was like 5.2. You had a 6 point something. Your Willbrook day is like a 16.
Yeah.
So you look at those and how far under the low 12 are you. Yeah. I looked it up before I came in. Truth be told, I got driving and I was like, Pat, dude, West played. I called him. I was like, West played, right? Give me all the stats. I need all the stats before I get there.
I tell you what, Willbrook, there was a couple of, because the tees were where they were, I hit some bombs, or what bombs for me, and I still couldn't get them to the freaking dogleg. I was hitting 6-iron under trees just to try to get, I mean, that course whooped my butt that day. Just whooped it.
So this guy, I'm going to shorten the story because it's a 6-year story.
Okay.
So he came back. He did what we just said. He beat his index every single day. And he got disqualified. He got mad. He came back the next year. He did it again.
Yeah.
Just beat it every single day.
Right.
He got disqualified. He said he's never coming back. Disappears. 4 or 5 years down the road, fake golfer number 2 comes in. Okay? New like completely new player.
Right.
He gets back to the table. Like a lot of these people, we don't know.
Sure.
Like we don't know them.
Right.
And this guy beats his index every single day. He gets a call. He comes back to the back room, man. He's arguing with somebody. I can't remember who the heck it was.
Yeah.
But he's arguing with somebody, and when he leaves, they're like, dude, you called that guy X. And we're like, yeah, man, that's fake golfer number 2. And they were like, no, that's fake golfer number 1, man. He's been here for years. So he signed up with a new name, created a new handicap account, created all new information about himself.
Jeffrey, I told you that they do this. They do this.
Yeah, and like the only thing that was the same was his email address. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, that's a stat that we definitely use for you more than almost your name, man. Right. Of course you got to change your email.
Yeah.
Anyway, the guy came back a 5th year, got disqualified, and the 6th year got disqualified. So he won his flight the first year. He got disqualified 5 times in a row over the 6 years. When, like we said at the beginning, you can beat your current index roughly 1 out of 5 times.
Yeah.
Beating your low is like, that's just tough.
Yeah.
So this guy beat his low. What is that? This 24 round? Yeah. 1 round in his history of playing, he played 2 or above his index. Every single other round was under. And when I called him the 6th time, I was like, hey, fake golfer number 2, listen, I'm sure you're sick of hearing this call. You know, I'm definitely sick of making it.
Yeah.
And why don't we just cut it, man? And just why don't you just either play for fun or don't come back, man?
Yeah.
But there are people out there that are like that. But it's a funny story to look at and stuff. It's not the average person that gets removed. Like,
no, but I've heard stories like a lot of these like big time money games that lurk around the Carolinas and stuff. I won't like mention anything, but they're all handicapped and stuff like that. And you've got a guy named William, and he's got a William Hart handicap, and he's got a Bill Hart handicap.
Yeah.
One's a 12.
And an alias handicap. He's got a 3rd one, like a water ball or something,
and
right?
Like he owns a house at the beach. He owns a house in whatever city he lives in, and it's crazy, absolutely nuts that people go to that length to cheat.
And when you talk about 10 years and 3,000 people and 30,000 different things, like those people are coming. But like most of our rules, I try to make sure everybody knows when we're talking, because it's funny to point at those kind of people.
Yeah.
But like most of our rules that we have in place are not to catch those people. They're really in place for the honest guy whose index might get off.
It's there to protect the field.
Yeah. The rules are in place to protect us, not restrict us. That's what I always like to say.
Yeah, it's a good way to say.
Nobody really likes hearing that when when they're on
still
the
like, bro, change your email.
Yeah, dude, you got to change the email.
You got to get a different email.
But I mean, we got so many different stories like that I'm blanking on. But like, just people that they just go out of their way to do things. Like they'll blow their index up or create an entire fake index and come. And then they understand the math. Because again, if you want to, go learn the handicap system.
Sure.
It is second grade math.
Yeah.
The only reason nobody does is because they think they already know how it works.
Right.
And they'll learn it and they'll just kind of hover around the number and know, well, I might not win, but I can finish third or fourth if I just hover around the number.
Right.
Nobody will ever know the difference. And then we have what's called tournament point system.
Okay.
So if you are habitually finishing in the top 5 at World Am, something's wrong.
Right.
Well, it might not necessarily be as glaring as we need to remove you from the golf tournament, but if you just come every year and you finish second, third, fourth, second, third, first, second, of course we got you in the wrong spot. We don't really have the data over here to say why your index is wrong to prove it, but it's obvious.
Something's up.
If there's 50 people in a flight, you're supposed to finish 25th. You're supposed to win your flight once every 50 years. Yeah. That's just what equality is all about.
Sure.
So if you're up there and it happens, you accumulate points. So like if you finish first, you get 6 points. Second is fourth, 3, 2, 1 down for top 5. And if you finish back-to-back years, you get these points and we add them up. So if you finish first place back-to-back years, well, I mean.
Has that happened?
Oh, it happened. It happens every
No,
year.
like I'm talking overall winner. Like won the whole thing. You had a back-to-back winner to win it all. Like Friday, playing on Friday.
I feel like Bobby Perkinson might have done that. Who's a 3.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. So don't quote me on that.
So when you get to Friday, explain that. That's everyone that's won their flight, correct?
So when you get to Friday, what we do first of all is
is your 5th day of golf in a row.
I know.
Yeah.
And you've beaten the 50 people in your flight. It's an awesome experience Friday.
Yeah.
It's
Where was it this year?
It was at Grand Dunes.
Sick.
It was immaculate. Yeah, it's really cool. So we check them in. Unlike every other round, you see every one of our staff members is there.
Yeah.
We're starting you on the tee box. It's very professional. There's tents and signage and all kinds of stuff everywhere. But whatever your low 12 is, you're either going to use your low 12, or if for some reason you beat your index 2 days, we use your lowest 2 scores, average them together, and if it's lower than your low 12, you use that for Friday.
And you're playing from the box that you've been playing from all week.
Pretty much, yeah. Everybody gets seniors get a senior box, and
sure.
Nobody plays any super long tees or anything like that. And, it's always pretty close on Friday. You don't see anybody really run away.
That's what I was going to ask. Does the gross guy have an advantage there, you think?
So first of all, the gross people, their tournament ends after 4 rounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we don't want to not invite them Friday because it's kind of like an award. Just we don't want to make gross worse than that because we'd like to grow our gross division.
Absolutely.
But so we invite them to play, and most of the time they do. So just for the record, this year the gross guy. Keep it in mind when you put him on a leaderboard, you got him at a 0. Your gross champion is not a 0; he's a plus, right? So he's a better golfer. So Sean O'Donnell shot 6 under at TPC, and Apindra Modak, the handicap champion, the net score for him I think was 5. So Sean actually did beat him there. And when we went to go tell the guy that he won the whole thing, he was like, I saw that because for some reason we have the gross guys on the leaderboard. We shouldn't even put them up there, so it confused them.
I had several, the first 2 days, we were at Man of War the first day, and I guess he just wanted to play in the same division as his buddy, but he was giving 2 strokes back that day. He wasn't playing in the gross. I was like, why would you not play in the gross? We got
these people, they don't want to play in the gross. They're plus 2s, and they just feel like they don't have a chance.
He said, I'm like, for the skins. That's what he told me. It's like, okay, cool.
Well, I don't know. We don't do any of the skins.
Right, correct. I know that.
So, I don't know how they work.
They paid out this year, buddy.
I know. They always do. And my thing is, are they net? Or do you just
Great question. I don't play in it.
Don't.
Don't
play.
I never have.
Don't put your money in a pot. Like just some rando. Hold your money always. That's the amount of horror stories that come out of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've heard some.
It's no good. But the whole event from beginning to end is one of the coolest golf experiences you can ever get. And we hear a lot of stuff on phones and surveys and things like that, like we're just out of our mind for what we charge. And to be able to play in this golf tournament for $629, you get the gift bag on the front end, you get 4 rounds of golf in Myrtle Beach, you get 4 nights at the 19th hole for 3 hours, free food from area restaurants, open bar.
Salty golfer beer.
You can drink. Loud music, just all kinds of stuff. And it's
for less than $700. Where can you go do that?
You can't.
You can't.
You know what you're doing? You're comparing us to us from a few years ago where everything costs less. So quit comparing us to us. Give me an example of a golf tournament that's even in the same category, price range versus value.
It's not $2,000 anymore.
I tell everybody, you're never going to get on the phone where somebody has an example for you. They're just comparing us to us.
Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. Like, if you've never done a golf trip, if you're scared to book a golf trip, like you're just into golf, but you want to go somewhere and play golf, you're not going to find anywhere in the world more affordable with quality golf that we have here in Myrtle Beach. You just won't.
Myrtle Beach is the most welcoming destination for a golfer that you're going to find. We have everything here. We have the cream of the crop. We have the guy who doesn't care as much about being supreme. He just wants to play regular old golf courses. And you can build your own package that will start low, or you can pay a ton and get great. So all these destinations and places that you go, and when I say you just go kind of middle of the road here, middle of the road here is still way better than most people's home places. So you could do whatever you want here, and there's packagers and people you can get in touch with. A lot of people are, there's the different person, right? I like to go out and, not me, but there's the person who likes to go out and just do everything themselves for themselves. They're the group leader, they take care of everything. Or there's people that like to pick up the phone and they call a packager and they're like, dude, I don't want to do the work. Help me out. Get my hotel, book me a package, get one-stop shop, make it super easy, show me the price and where I'm going, and give me an itinerary.
So going back to the GTS side of things, that's what you guys do. There's a side of the marketing side that you guys help show how good the golf courses are. Via social media, all different types of things, right? 100%. That's a big part of your business.
It is. It's probably, it's the biggest part. A lot of people know the event staff because we do events and there are events people, but what our marketing team does is second to none. They're I'll just go ahead and say it. They're about 3 times as smart as the events guys. They are all world. And what GTS does is they represent golf as a whole. We don't look at the best golf course in town or the worst golf course in town. We're moving and we're promoting the destination as a whole. And that goes for golf courses and that goes for accommodations. And people get in and they're part of our membership. And it's kind of like being part of a family together. And what makes Myrtle Beach different than any other destination in the world is that everybody here is competing against one another, right? But they also are willing, those competitors are willing to come into a room, sit down together, and put a different hat on and talk about what's best for Myrtle Beach. And that is what makes Myrtle Beach special. It's the membership, and it's our golf courses and hotels and people that come together and are able to take their competitive, I need to be the best here, and put on a completely different hat and say, what's best for the community? And that's what makes us special. Nobody else does that anywhere in the world.
The other cool thing about Myrtle Beach golf as a community is we're probably one of the few places that if you come here on a family vacation and you're the only guy that plays golf or girl that plays golf, there's still things for the rest of your family to do.
Oh, gosh. We're a family place, right? This is a family place. If you don't play golf, Myrtle Beach is an unbelievable place to come visit.
And that's what I tell her. Mom, they don't play. I was like, dude, they got plenty to do.
Dude, come on. We're golf people. So, it's golf for us. It is a golf mecca here. It's the golf capital of the world.
Absolutely,
but, if you don't play golf, there are 100 times as many things to do in Myrtle Beach as there is to play golf.
Do you have as we're wrapping up, do you have a favorite restaurant around here? Do you have a favorite go-to spot?
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give a little plug for my brother-in-law.
All right, do it.
Okay, so when we talk about favorite restaurants, I love Bistro 217. You ever been there down at Polly's? My sister's husband, Adam Kirby, he owns that restaurant.
Wow.
He's the head chef there. He
Awesome.
also owns Rustic Table down there.
Okay, well, that's what.
Yeah.
Best meatloaf around.
I love the
meatloaf.
I don't do meatloaf.
You don't? Well, I do, and I do a lot of it.
Yeah.
It is the best.
I mean, it's all world, and he's won some awards, like as a chef ambassador and stuff like that. So, like,
there's some really cool spots down around that area.
And I'm kind of polycentric. I've grown up in Polly's. I like Polly's. I can't remember the sushi place. It's like Indu or. I can't remember.
One of my favorites down there is Frank's for sure.
Frank's is all world. If you're looking for an awesome atmosphere, you go Frank's out back, man. You're eating in the jungle. It is kind of cool with the oak trees and everything.
All right, let's get into Salty 7. Okay, these are rapid fire.
Is that rapid fire? It's not a lucky thing. Like Lucky 7.
I mean, hopefully you get lucky and get them all right, or
they're questions for me.
Questions for you.
Oh.
Yeah. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
Wow.
Pineapple doesn't touch my mouth in general.
Really?
I don't do the pineapple.
Okay.
I don't like pineapple.
That question has been like 50-50.
Okay. Well, I am on the 4% crazy side of please don't
Have you ever
touch
tried it on pizza?
I don't know. I don't like pineapple, so it's not going to work for me.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Bob Marley or Jimmy Buffett?
That's so tough, man. That's not fair. I'm just going to go with Bob Marley.
Okay.
I love Jimmy Buffett, but I mean, Bob Marley has a different kind of
it's a good
laid back deal, so I'm going to go.
All right. You might not be able to remember one of these, but your highest and lowest golf score.
My lowest score is 66, bogey free, South Creek, Myrtle Beach National.
Sick. How old were you?
20. 2019, somewhere right out of college. I didn't make a bogey.
Physical condition. You were just a baller.
I mean, I'm gonna stay and remain for a long period of time an elite athlete, but back then it was was special. It was special. Highest? I don't remember. It doesn't.
Well, you try to forget. As an athlete, you try to forget those for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm sure as a kid, X.
I meant more like you were a player and you just didn't have it that day. Did you ever go like? I can still remember shooting 100 a couple of times, even being.
It's been a long time since I've shot 100, but one of those days after DJ, I shot 90 on the nose, man.
Okay.
And I left a ball in the bunker on 9, and I got the next. I haven't shot 90 or above in like 2 decades, except for that day. So that'll be a one that sticks out.
Interesting. What golfer could play in the NFL, and what position would he play? It can be any tour.
What golfer can play in the...
Looks like he could play in the NFL. What position would he play? I'll give you mine.
Okay.
Brooks Koepka, tight end.
He's too little.
Okay.
He's too little with that tight end, man.
I don't know.
I don't know. What an awesome question.
Well, there's so many athletes.
I want a little guy that could be a scat back, but I'm having trouble picturing one in my mind, man. No,
that's a joke.
I think people would be surprised at how athletic like a Dustin Johnson could be because he kind of moves around like sluggish, but like man, that guy can like standing dunk a basketball.
He is an athlete.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
He's tight in height.
Yeah, he could maybe. I don't think Dustin would like getting hit more than twice. He wouldn't.
Maybe he has to play defensive end then.
Yeah.
You have to be hitting. All right, we'll go with the.
I feel like I slighted the quick 7 there and didn't come with a good enough answer.
That's okay, don't worry about it.
But I'm letting the people down by not coming with something.
This won't be your last time on the show. What secret talent do you have that would win a talent show?
I don't have any secret talents, man. Everybody knows I'm awesome at everything. Come on. They could win a talent first. They could win a talent show? I don't really know that I could win any talent shows, man.
But you're awesome at everything.
I am awesome at everything.
I love it.
Except for I can't hit a baseball.
You can't hit
Not a chance, man. I got terrible eyes. Like I'll tell you if I'm really bad at something. I can't throw darts.
Okay.
Pretty good pool player. Hung out at way too many bars when I was younger, so I can shoot pool pretty well.
Have you failed at anything, Ryan?
Have I
failed at anything? Doesn't say.
failed? Yeah, there was one time. I don't know if
One time.
I don't know if you've seen the video. Have you ever seen the video of me and Jeff Monday racing at the convention center?
I don't think I have.
Okay, so when I first started, like I used to joke with the guys because they, look at me, I don't look like I'm athletic, but like when I was younger, dude, I used to lift weights every day and do stuff, man. I used to get it. I don't.
Where'd you play college golf?
Wingate University. So, but when I was in high school, man, I played basketball and stuff too.
Sure.
So anyway, me and Jeff Monday were talking, and Jeff, he's kind of smaller, and this is 10 years ago.
Sure.
I was like, dude, you can't ever beat me in a foot race. It's never going to happen in the history of, you know what I mean? Yeah. We argued about it, and we all wear loafers all the time, so it's not like we could just go outside and test it. So we had tennis shoes on, and we were at the convention center for World Am, and we go over there on Friday night, and it's open. Yeah. Like nothing's set up yet. Yeah. And it's just a runway. Yeah. And I was like, dude, how about that race right now for $10? You ready? And he was like, okay. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna smoke you. Yeah. And so the little electric plugs out there are 30 feet apart. Yeah. So we mark off the little 100-yard dash we're gonna do. And Scott's filming, and one of the other guys is there. And
Tomasello?
Yeah, he's filming, and I am smoking Jeff, and I am moving so fast. You know how when you get moving so fast that like you go to...
No, I don't.
Well, I get moving so fast that I go to take a step and like I missed the ground, bro. And I busted. Oh. I'll show you the video when this thing's over. And I hit the ground.
Can you post it on the thing when we're doing the show? As you're telling the story?
I don't know how to find it that fast.
Oh, no, but like we can get it. This one's not going out until October, so.
Oh, yeah, we can post it. Yeah. Because the commentary from Scott when I go down, that's the priceless part. So anyway, Jeff gets to walk past me, and needless to say, I lost my $10, and there was no rematch ever.
How close were you to the finish line?
I was probably 2/3 of the way. And I had a good 6-7 step head start on him too.
Too fast for yourself.
It was. Wow. That's the best way to say it. Like I don't know what happened. I just completely busted. So I did fail once. That's a failure.
See that. You literally failed. Literally.
Yeah, I thought you were referencing the video and had seen it. During World Am. It always comes up every year. So.
Favorite golf accessory in your bag, but it can't be a club.
Favorite golf accessory in my bag that's not a club. Is a head cover going to go?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can't remember who did the head covers, but we got like created head covers that Scott got for us like 3 or 4 years ago. That's probably my favorite. So it's got like little dog paws on it. I'm a dog person. I smoke, so it's got a no smoking sign. Yeah. It's got Chipotle logo on it. It's got darts because they know I stink at it. Yeah. And it's just got little things like that. So my favorite.
Stink at darts, but love smoking darts.
True.
There you go.
Yeah. I need to quit both, I guess.
No judgments on that. It's 5 p.m. You just finished playing golf. Is there a local bar you're going to?
Man, I used to go to bars way too much. Yeah. So I don't really go.
If you had to go to one, if you were saying you just got out playing with your boys and like, hey, let's go get a drink real quick, where would you go?
I mean, it depends on where you end up playing, I guess. And I can't tell you.
You got to give me one, Ryan. You got to give me an old bar that you used to go to.
I'll just take the Boathouse, man. It's huge, right? Yeah, There's people everywhere. Every once in a while they have live music. I mean, it's the Boathouse. So there's stuff everywhere. I'll go with that.
I dig it.
Butters is good too. Yeah. Butters are.
Well, you did okay on the Salty 7. You didn't fail.
I failed on the golfer thing, and just for the record, I've been thinking about it since the question. I still don't have a good answer, man. I was going to try to plug it as the
I think it would probably be someone older. Jack Nicklaus in his heyday, he looked like he could play football.
I don't know, man. You need a little guy like me. Yeah. You got to be little and fast and scatty.
I get it.
Like scat back, man. That's what I want.
Xander, he's scatty.
I like Xander.
He looks a lot. I do too.
I'm a big fan. I like the guys that are great at everything, and I hate these power hitters.
I think he got some validation this year too, winning.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, dude. Ryan, this is awesome, man.
Yeah,
thanks
absolutely.
so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, this was episode 3. If you dug it, like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you like, what you didn't like. If you know that Ryan failed at something else, put it in the comments.
And make sure that next year, if you haven't already, get it off your bucket list and sign up to play golf Myrtle Beach World Amateur. There's no way you're going to find a better golf tournament to play in. Just
100%.
ask the host yourself.
Yeah, 100%. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.